brush is concerned isn't the biggest concern as far as life and limb goes. It's the fires in those vehicles. But luckily, most people have evacuated from there.
And they were sending people on northbound. Is that still happening?
Right. Yeah, they're still doing that a little bit. I'm watching this helicopter coming in. I'm not sure if they're going to make another drop here. I just want to follow them in here and see if they're going to make another drop on these burning vehicles. Looks like he is going to make a pass here and hit these. There we go. There we go. But that wind, boy, that was a tough drop. You know, came in low, and you know, he tried to do a quick drop, and now they've got a hose on this semi, so they have been able to bring a hose in.
Man, look at that. Look at that. Truck on fire.
It shows you that this thing is ongoing. It is out of control. They're doing what they can, but even a water drop on top of a burning car has almost no effect.
And so much dangerous fuel out there, and not
around to where I could get a visual on this now and see where that helicopter went. And I can see it right now. He's just kind of working his way up in the hills, just waiting to get in there. But that's the only way they're getting water on this, except for that one little tanker truck that worked its way up. So.
And what about the people who've been evacuated from the freeway at this point? As we look at the pictures here, we see firefighters, but we don't see any of the drivers anymore. They've been evacuated. How far down?
Oh, I sort of
all right, but you can see.
there.
Yeah, we see more flames too near the freeway. We have not seen that.
All the same foods you're eating now to cause your body to lose pounds.
Living in there.
You don't. And the liability not to.
The wind is blowing north, so that is good for vehicles as far as that area goes.
Gordon, is that
again that fire?
Where the semis are both on fire that we're looking at in the center of the screen? Is that a difficult position for a tanker to get in and make a drop? Is that why they're just using helicopters?
Yeah, Paul. I think that is the case.
Just lost Gordon for a second. He keeps having to shift around because of all the aerial assets that are being used in fighting the fire. Gordon, in fact, there's again, I believe, right now. Go ahead, Gordon.
I can hear you, Paul. Yeah, you know, I think they're using the planes with the large capacity tank.
Tow truck eventually and move your car when this thing is all said and done, but that's quite some time from now, which brings us to the other point. The people on the 15th.
Oh yeah, you got all kinds of chemicals coming out of cars, just with the rubber and the plastics and things. But you don't know what's inside that trailer. I mean, they put the hazmat stickers, the placards on there, so I'm sure they've already figured that out. But who knows what's inside that truck? I mean, it could be canisters of propane for all we know, and that will just add all kinds of problems. But hopefully, it's some type of product that's not going to explode or really cause him any issues, because he's right next to it. And it just kind of looks like he's just trying to keep it cool, but the other side's totally involved. And I can tell you probably within the next 5 minutes, that roof's going to be completely in. And
east of Sheep's Creek Road, they are now under mandatory evacuations. And looking at Phelan Road on a map, there are quite a few streets below that, which means there's quite a few homes in that area. They aren't spread out, but it's still probably several hundred people living in that area at the least that are now under a mandatory.
About all the firefighters who are out there, and you mentioned all the different agencies.
Whoa.
But when you look at the fuel
Right near
and
FedEx trucks and a lot of cars.
possibility, worst case scenario on this freeway, have you called for help from some other agencies at this point?
Yes, we have, and in fact,
the semi, the motor.
Yeah.
There were no flames on either side of the freeway there,
No,
so
just
we don't know
seems
what
like
caused that fire. And then, of course, this semi was stuck next to it, and there was intense heat as the cars on the car carrier caught fire.
And there seems to be another explosion of fire, Paul. Just as we are watching this happen, we can still see those hoses. You see that water. It seems like that's coming from the other side.
Yeah.
Now,
so
there are firefighters on both sides.
It's originating from the green. firefighters with hoses around that FedEx truck that's directly behind the car carrier and the big rig that's on fire there. I noticed some firefighters around there. I think they sprayed the front of the truck a bit, but they're kind of hanging around there. That would be, unfortunately, the next vehicle to go. But there does seem to be some space between the two, so maybe that's a good thing.
Cars, and we have just seen a domino effect of cars, boats, trailers, all catching on fire here. Now we see even more flames here on the side here on the side of the hill. This is a big fight, an incident within an incident.
What can you tell us? What's your experience with this fire?
Oh yeah, so we're coming down from Vegas, and then the traffic started, and at first it was like a really small fire.
Under mandatory evacuations, and we learned from the San Bernardino County Fire Department that they characterized it as either structure fires or house fires in the Baldy Mesa area, but hopefully everybody was out because they were given sufficient time to evacuate.
FedEx truck, 15 feet the front end of that. Yeah, right behind it. And no one's even making an attempt to try to move that out of the way. So,
and fires like this, the embers fly into the air just as they do from brush fires and forest fires. The embers that are coming out, furiously coming out of that tractor trailer, are being carried by the wind inside that black smoke, and those embers can be carried for a mile or more. A mile.
Oops.
The driver or the owner of that vehicle is quite concerned, as are the vehicles that are adjacent to the semi-truck. Fortunately, I think everybody has evacuated.
They have, because that FedEx truck is close enough that if that driver went, I do believe he has space behind him to back that rig up. But you can see it's stationary.
Was talking to us about, Gilbert's photograph. You sent us a photo. Thank you so much. You're ABC 7 eyewitness. So we're putting your photograph up right now. So this is your perspective of what you saw. So you saw this thing developing early on. Are you still trapped somewhere?
No, we're at a gas station actually. There's a lot of people from the fire here.
And you can't go anywhere then because of the 215?
And it's a when it's a clear day, it's a spectacular, beautiful drive, and it's like you look around and when you're driving, you're going like, this is one of those beauty spots in California. Yeah. But when the conditions are right and you get a brush fire, it's not so pretty anymore. And you see what you see now.
It's turning back to the
black smoke. I don't know what was that. I don't know what that semi-tractor trailer was carrying, but the black smoke just continues to pour out of that trailer, which is completely engulfed in flames now. And again, as Tim pointed out, parked right behind that is a FedEx.
Less than effective at this point because the fire is spreading.
The fog check is strictly for putting in front of the fire, and basically just providing a fire retardant layer, mainly in hopes of slowing or stopping that fire from, in place of putting an actual dozer line or hand crew line in front of it.